Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today on Tech Ground we're reviewing Meepo's new electric scooter, the Meepo Voyager. It's one of the most powerful and impressive scooters on the market right now. Let's check out the box. Simple black with an outline of the scooter on top and plain sides. It does have a handle on the front for easy transport inside the box. Now let's see what we find when we open it up. Here we see it comes with a flexible cork cap. It's very well protected, and here's the skate visible to us. As soon as we remove this lid, we see the beast appear. We lift it and it's quite heavy. Beneath it there was also this little cork piece where the battery will go in and be supported so that it doesn't rub against the other materials. Here are the accessories that come with this skate. We have this little card. As you can see, it's a black card, and on the front is a table of equivalency. Over here we can see the wheels size in millimeters relating to the belts we can use and the speed achievable with the different wheels and components in place. Let's start with the first and most important thing, charging, because if we don't charge the skate, we really can't go anywhere with it. Here we see this big transformer. Look at my hands, it's a very large, very powerful transformer, as this skate needs a lot of power. Let's talk about the remote control. It comes in plastic. This is the controller. I'll talk a little more about it now. Here you have the four wheels, the key, the change of the bogies, the wheel centering, and the spare straps. Look at what a piece of wheels for different terrains. We're no longer talking about flat wheels like the skate itself. These are more pneumatic wheels. They remind me a lot of the wheels of a cart. With this, we will have more braking and we will have greater speed and greater grip on different terrains. We would have 4 belts, we would have 2 more spare parts, 2 pairs of spares of the belts themselves. And if we go to the card that I mentioned before, here we can see that we have the HTD 5M255. In this case, with the wheels that are mounted, which would be 90 millimeters, we would reach a maximum speed of 64 kilometers per h on the track at 47 kilometers per h. If we ride the 100s and 10s, which would be these ones, we'll reach a top speed of 58 kilometers per hour. Here in this section we have the key, which is a triple-sized key with a hexagonal head, wider, slightly narrower, and then narrower still. To start, it has a flexible deck. This board is designed to flex well, which we'll also demonstrate on the street later. The board is constructed from 2 layers of bamboo and 1 layer of an intermediate fiber. What does this mean? Essentially, we'll have a board that excellently absorbs all ground vibrations and is perfect for both city asphalt and various slightly more uneven terrains. It has regular sandpaper finished with graphics from the brand itself. Here we see the brand logo, a nice graphic with a very simple design. And in the front, a small arrow indicating the riding direction for riding with the skates on the underside. This board is a type of Boster board, which means it has a battery and an ESC, the controller, and they are separate, giving us a great balance for riding comfort and the way the skateboard functions. What really makes this board special is its motors. We're talking about 2 1400 watt motors each. This is truly crazy because the motors face inward, which helps protect them from impacts and improves their cooling. With them, we can reach speeds of up to 56 kilometers per hour, as I mentioned before. The Meepo Voyager has a huge 518 watt-hour battery, providing a range of between 38 and 58 kilometers. Let's take a look at its charging port, which has a cap, the charging input, and the button that shows the battery level. By pressing it, it indicates 4 levels, 3 of which are lit, telling us that it's at about 70% charged. On the other side, here we have the power button. Just pressing it, it beeps and the device turns on. As I also mentioned earlier, here we have the skate's powertrain. These rear wheels, which we talked about earlier, would push the skate forward towards the steering arrow. Here we have the motors where the belts go, these little straps, and these belts will move the hubs that are attached to the wheel, which will give it the traction needed to push the skate. If you're up for trying this board, get ready to really feel the power from these motors and the comfort of this skate, because honestly, when you ride it, it's extremely comfortable and you barely notice any instability. These are the wheels I mentioned earlier, the street wheels, which are the 90 wheels, They're smooth wheels more suited for city driving, not so much for road driving like the others. The Cyclones, which are wheels better suited for various types of terrain. Well, we're on the street now. Let's test this awesome skate. If you've never used one of these skates before, safety is the top priority. Always wear a helmet. Let's go over some guidelines on how to ride this skate. First, learn to roll with the skate turned off. Let's look at the proper posture for these skates and how to mount it. Here's the front arrow. When you get on the skate, always start with it turned off. As we mentioned, to learn how to manage stability and strength, how to flex and balance on the skate. When moving forward, bend your knees slightly and lean forward a bit to avoid losing balance while pushing. And when you're going to brake, do the opposite. Lean back slightly and stretch your leg forward, and whichever feels more comfortable, whether you prefer going right or left, each person will choose their own driving style that suits them best and how they'll be most stable on the board. Importantly, don't ride in rain, as these skates slip a lot, especially with the street wheels we're using now. We mentioned that the Cyclone 110S are wheels for slightly rougher or uneven terrain, like this area or paths you can ride on. A helmet is essential, and it's best to wear gloves, elbow pads and knee pads too. I'm not wearing other gear, but I have on a motorcycle helmet in this case. You could also use a typical skate helmet, but since I'm not a skater, I'll use my motorcycle helmet to at least protect my head if I fall. Another crucial point is about riding safely. We'll be sharing roads with other users. Cars, cyclists and pedestrians will pass by us. Prioritize safety on this board. It's not a toy. It may look fun, but reckless use can be dangerous. So above all, be extremely cautious. Let's do a test now. First, we'll use the remote I have in my pocket. As you can see, it turns on. Once on, it shows it's disconnected. Now let's power up the skateboard. I'll show you a quick demo before we ride. We're in speed mode, currently at level 1. As you see, it maintains a steady speed of 5. This is ideal for starting to ride the board. Forward on the dial to speed up, back to brake. It has 4 speed modes. The second mode is a bit faster, going up to 11 miles per hour. Mode 3 balances braking and acceleration. Here we can reach speeds of 30 miles per hour. We're already going over 40 kilometers. Now let's see what happens if I accelerate suddenly. This is insane. The last one, mode 4, is more aggressive. The speed is pretty much the same as in mode 3. If we brake, you can see it stops abruptly. You need to be careful with acceleration and braking due to the strong momentum. When braking, a sudden stop could throw you off. I don't think anyone wants that. We flip the scooter, put on our helmet and hit the road. Let's check for any oncoming vehicles. Arrow forward, we hop on and start moving. As we can see, the speed is very gentle right now. We're moving slowly, not exceeding 6 nautical miles per hour. We're talking about 8 or 10 kilometers per hour at most. And we're going to switch to mode 2, which is a bit faster. The acceleration is greater. I'm going to turn around, go up, bend properly, lean forward, and using our own weight, knees, hips and shoulders, we'll turn. And here we are at a speed of 10 miles per hour, somewhere between 12 and 14 kilometers per hour. Also note that the controller itself, which we'll look at in more detail later, has modes to move forward and back. The arrow indicates the direction, but we can also choose if we don't want to turn around and prefer a turn that's not too awkward, too random. Then we revert. Let's check out the test a bit. I'm setting it to speed 1. We're going to move forward. If I brake and hit the engine twice, we'll see that we're heading in a new direction. Alright, let's check out this remote control that uses radio frequency to control the skateboard. It has a USB-C charging port, a speed control dial, and 2 buttons. The back is plain with just a wrist strap that can be adjusted using this pin. There are several sections on the display. First, we have the speed, which we can change using this button. 3, 4, 1. In the middle, it shows our current speed. and braking. Below we see the battery levels for both the remote and the skateboard. At the top are miles, and double pressing the power button switches between forward and reverse. Alright, as we've seen with the remote and board, we can go anywhere. With a range of up to 58 kilometers, depending on conditions, we can travel quite far. Now let's discuss the board's price, performance and my impressions. This skate is incredibly powerful. The controller's power level 2 is more than enough, considering it's already at 10. Kilometers per hour is a speed that, on a skateboard with no grip, especially for a beginner like me, means less risk and more control. When you switch to level 3, things get wild. Without experience, you'll lose balance, your legs will wobble, and you might take a nasty fall. Level 4 is even more intense, offering the adrenaline rush that many of the pros crave. That feeling of freedom and power. The pull is spectacular, with an incredible start and acceleration. As I mentioned in the unboxing, these wheels are for city riding. For off-road and higher speeds, you'd want to use the other tires. They're thicker, absorb more impact, and provide better grip and braking. The top speed is also higher, so you'll get maximum performance from this skate. Its current price on the official store is $900. For that price, you're getting a skate with brutal performance and features. It delivers the punch people always want. It's a very secure skate front and back with 2 plastic protections for frontal impacts. These absorb a lot, preventing board damage. For me, it's top tier. If I were pro, I'd buy it. Even for beginners unfamiliar with skating, whether you go for the 1 or 2, you'll enjoy it immensely. If you like this video, as always, subscribe and hit like. We'll link the marketplaces selling this product in the description. Until next time, goodbye.